Now to CBS.
This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. CIA Director William Casey is out. Still in the hospital today, still unavailable to give testimony. Casey has resigned. Deputy CIA Chief Robert Gates has been named to succeed Casey. This switchover still leaves unanswered many questions about the CIA's role in the whole weapons for Iran deal, what Casey knows about it, what Robert Gates knows. Bill Plant begins our coverage of the CIA in transition and under fire.
CIA Director William Casey's resignation ended weeks of speculation following surgery to remove a brain tumor. President Reagan nominated Deputy Director Robert Gates, a career intelligence officer, as Casey's replacement.
He will help bridge the gap, and there was a tremendous gap between Congress and Director Casey.
Attorney General Meese and Chief of Staff Regan met with Casey in his hospital room last Thursday. White House officials say Casey indicated it was his decision to leave, but that the administration was relieved. A hospital statement says Casey is alert, but medical sources tell CBS News he has great difficulty speaking and is unlikely ever to be able to testify again on the Iran-Contra controversy. The agency he leaves behind also faces problems.
Their credibility certainly has been damaged to the extent that there are many people on the Hill who no longer feel willing to give them the benefit of the doubt at first blush and are going to question everything they say.
The man who will try to change that, Gates, is at 43, a 20-year veteran of the CIA and National Security Council, and would be the agency's youngest director ever. White House officials said Gates was chosen over a political appointee in an effort to bring continuity to the agency at a difficult time. In his confirmation hearings, Gates will face senators who question his own role in the Iran-Contra affair.
And I think it will now have to review Gates and his testimony as well as his background.
The CIA prospered under Casey. It was able, because of his close friendship with the president, to get the money it needed to rebuild after the house cleaning of the 70s. Now it faces questions about its role in the Iran-Contra scandal, and the White House hopes that Gates will be able to keep the agency on an even keel. Bill Plant, CBS News, the White House.
Robert Gates is taking over an agency which congressional investigators suspect knows more than it's willing to admit about the diversion of profits from the Iran arms sales to the Contras. The CIA says it did not know, was not involved. But one CIA officer, the agency's head man in Costa Rica, relayed messages from Oliver North to the organizers of the airlift to the Contras.
There was at least one member of the CIA helping Colonel North in what appears to be illegal activity dealing with the Contras. I think Mr. Gates should be asked a very basic question. Did he know that the CIA was involved in illegally helping Colonel North? And if he did, when did he know about it?
Beginning in 1982, Gates was the agency's senior intelligence analyst, and for the past year, he served as William Casey's deputy. He was deeply involved in both monitoring the fortunes of the Contras and selling arms to Iran.
There's a door that interconnects their two offices. In my time, that door was constantly flying open in one direction or the other, and there was very little, if anything, that I didn't share fully with my deputy.
Gates has told Congress it was not until last October when the CIA put together the evidence that funds were being diverted to the Contras. Even then, Gates didn't breathe a word to Congress.
By his own admission, he knew in October that there was a serious question about illegal diversion of funds to the Contras, and yet he did not come to our committee and tell us.
The CIA had been ordered by President Reagan not to tell Congress about the Iran arms deal. Before Congress confirms Gates as the new director, members will want to know what he would do the next time the president orders the CIA to keep an operation secret from them. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
President Reagan had his spokesman change positions today about whether investigators will have access to the president's own personal notes about sending arms to the Ayatollah. Capitol Hill correspondent Phil Jones reports Congress does want them.
To avoid a bruising confrontation with Congress, President Reagan agreed late today to make available relevant excerpts from his personal notes that might relate to the Iran-Contra investigation. The day began with presidential spokesman Marlin Fitzwater saying the notes are very personal and there is concern about invasion of the president's privacy and other people's privacy. That started a political storm at the Capitol.
President Reagan has said over and over and over again that he wants all the facts made public. If those words were sincere, if he meant what he said, then it seems to me these documents should be made available
At issue were the personal notes, or impressions as the White House called them, that the president makes occasionally in the residence after his meetings. The president said his decision to release the relevant notes was consistent with his commitment to cooperate fully, to get to the bottom of the matter and fix what went wrong.
I think that he might well have made an argument that personal notes aren't personal notes, and they weren't coming up here. I give him credit for turning them over.
The president's spokesman said today that the White House will negotiate with the congressional committees and independent counsel as to what specific notes will be released. Phil Jones, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The New York Times reported today that a huge secret arms for Iran deal was allowed by the Reagan administration to go ahead in the period 1983 through 85. This deal involved dozens of jet fighter aircraft. International arms dealers reportedly arranged for the U.S. weapons on the international market. The U.S. Defense Department, the Times reports, knew of this planes for Iran arrangement, but made no effort to stop it. Reagan administration sources said today the United States is sending more ships and more men into the eastern Mediterranean. The buildup will put 2 aircraft carriers and 3,800 Marines in the vicinity of the Middle East, where the shore force clearly has Muslim extremists watching closely. From Damascus, Doug Tennell reports.
Along with a new picture of American hostage Terry Anderson, a new threat today from Islamic Jihad. Any American military strike in Lebanon, the communique warned, and the group will eliminate its hostages. It is the same group that Terry Waite set out to meet 12 days ago. And in Damascus today, yet more evidence that hostage negotiator Waite is now a hostage himself.
He is kidnapped now.
Whatever the real intent of the American fleet, the movement of American battleships both off the coast of Lebanon and into the Persian Gulf has turned up the temperature here almost to the boiling point. There is a rumor of an imminent U.S. military attack.
I think it is serious, but I advise the Americans don't do it.
What will happen to the hostages if they do a military action?
I think it is the quickly way to kill everyone.
Another group of kidnappers holding Americans Robert Polhill, Jesse Turner, and Alan Steen have also warned recently against any American military strike. Along with growing fears for their safety, there is also growing despair.
I could never leave my husband here in Lebanon. I'm not going anywhere.
And in Tehran, another American is now being held captive. Newsman Gerald Seib was one of about 50 reporters invited to Iran for a recent tour of the front. But his apparent arrest in Tehran on Saturday prompted a round of emergency meetings in Washington today.
He has not been seized by some mysterious, elusive band of terrorists, but by the government of Iran.
I believe we have good premonitions as far as this being resolved. Our only concern is how Jerry is being treated.
The Iranian news agency has reported that an Israeli spy who entered Iran on a false passport disguised as a journalist has been arrested. It is almost as if all across the Middle East now, Western diplomats are waiting for word on Westerners in trouble. There is one common thread. It runs from an increased American military presence in the region to Iran and the new threats against at least 9 Americans who are being held against their will. Doug Tennell, CBS News, Damascus.
Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, the Justice Department proposes even more changes in the way you get or don't get telephone services, and Australia feels the America's Cup slipping away.
The 87 Yugos are here, and people love them.
I think it's fun to drive. I like the rack and pinion steering.
We wanted a dependable second car.
It's easy to love America's most affordable new car, the $39.90 Yugo GB. And now there's even more value during Yugo's Pack for Action sale. You can get sport wheel covers, a right side mirror, roof rack.
Great.
And a 3-year, 50,000-mile extended service plan.
Wow.
All at terrific savings.
I'll take it.
Hurry, this offer won't last long. See your participating Yugo dealer today.
Morning. Join me for breakfast. My way.
Welcome to my morning. Welcome to my day.
You know, people used to think what made a great raisin bran was just a couple scoops of raisins. Today, people want more. Taste Post Natural Raisin Bran. Post uses naturally sweet raisins. They don't sugarcoat them like some other raisin brands do. Fantastic. And taste these crispy wheat and bran flakes. Taste the natural goodness of today's raisin bran. Post Natural Raisin Bran.
Another aftershock today of the breakup of the phone company 3 years ago. Now the U.S. government wants to take some of the federal regulations and restrictions off the regional phone companies created by the breakup. CBS News correspondent Rita Braver has been investigating how this might affect your phone services and what they cost.
The French do it, the Canadians do it, and now the Justice Department says Americans should be able to do it too. Hook up a simple video screen to any home telephone and dial into electronic yellow pages or classified ads, bank or even shop from home.
Buy wine, groceries at home, pay your bills at home, and you could even set up a blind date at home.
Under the 1982 decree that broke up Ma Bell into 7 regional phone companies, the Baby Bells were prohibited from offering such information banks and a lot of other services that might give them monopolies. But today, saying the U.S. is falling behind other countries in technology, the Justice Department proposed dropping virtually all restrictions on the Baby Bells. They would be allowed to manufacture and market their own equipment, both high-tech switching gear and home and office telephones, go into the long-distance business outside their own geographic regions.
The real gainer here will be the American public with broader services, more economical use of technology, and that's been the history of competition to date.
But the new proposals are already as controversial as the original breakup. Newspapers fear their sales will drop if people can get classified ads straight from the phone. Consumer groups worry that local companies will focus on new technology instead of old-fashioned service.
The primary concern of consumer advocates is that telephone service be affordable, be dependable, and be universally available to consumers across the country.
And long-distance carriers are angry that the Baby Bells will now be allowed into manufacturing and long distance.
This, it seems to us, is a step backward, and it puts the public and customers and share owners and employees of AT&T back to square one.
The Justice Department expects these recommendations to be approved within the next few months by a federal judge here in Washington. But first, he's expected to ask for public comment, and to get a lot of it. Rita Braver, CBS News, Washington.
The U.S. Interior Department got back into a major environmental issue today, the controversy over offshore drilling. Today's proposal to open tracts previously closed to oil and gas exploration in federal waters off California, an area of about 6.5 million acres. It's part of a new 5-year plan for national offshore drilling that Interior Secretary Hodel will send Congress in April. Congress, federal judges, and other top government officials will automatically receive hefty pay raises Wednesday unless the House votes to block those raises. The Senate already has. The House has to vote no as well to make it final. Congress is under pressure both ways. One congressional witness today was a former Chief Justice of the United States, pleading for more money to keep qualified judges on the bench. Steve Young reports why.
So many federal judges are resigning, said former Chief Justice Berger, their salaries should be nearly doubled to $150,000 a year.
The former law clerks, a great percentage of them are making more than the judge or justice they worked with.
An Atlanta federal judge says it's a crisis.
I've been on the bench 8 years now, and I have never seen so much dissatisfaction and unhappiness.
At a time when workers in many parts of the country are being asked to take cuts in their pay, more and more the question is, what's a federal judge worth?
I really don't know how to respond to a federal judge who cries poor at $81,100 a year.
It's, for many lawyers, the ultimate in public service.
But what the top lawyer who doesn't become a judge can make is plenty. One survey shows the partners in big LA law firms can make $445,000. Less in Washington, D.C., $255,000 because it has so many lawyers. And in New York, $880,000. Marvin Frankel is one of the federal judges who quit.
Very much. I think the low pay of our federal judges and the quality of disrespect that goes with that low pay is making that job less august and less desirable.
Judges may not get their raises this time around, but the growing wage gap between judges and the lawyers who appear before them is certain to keep the issue on appeal. Steve Young, CBS News, New York.
The chief doctor at the Federal Aviation Administration today was replaced. Dr. Frank Austin has been under fire from doctors at some airlines and the Airlines Pilots Association. They said Dr. Austin was too lax about certifying pilots with medical conditions as fit to fly. Dr. Austin denies this. He asked for reassignment today. A chilling echo today of that mid-air collision last August between an Aeromexico jetliner and a private plane that claimed 82 lives near Los Angeles. CBS News correspondent David Dow has been told the pilot of an Aeromexico Flight 498 filed a near mid-air collision report, that's a quote, near mid-air collision report, involving his plane and an unknown Cessna last Saturday in the restricted airspace around the Los Angeles airport. That's the same flight number as the Aeromexico jet involved in the fatal collision near the same site.
I want a laxative that leaves me in control all day with no surprises.
Think Fiberall. Think relief. Effective relief. Doctors recommend most the kind of laxative that's in Fiberall. Fiberall has the natural fiber remedy that relieves gently, without any worry.
I want effective relief, and with no harsh chemicals that can cramp my style.
Think Fiberall. Think relief. Effective relief. Fiberall, the natural fiber remedy for natural, effective relief. Also in wafer.
Hi, folks. Danny Thomas here. The smoking stain your dentures, then clean them with Smoker's Polident. Super strength Smoker's Polident gets tough tobacco stains super clean. The super strength soap for people who smoke.
Is your breath a little strong? Then have a Milk-Bone dog biscuit to help scrape away plaque and food particles to give you cleaner teeth, fresher breath. Get Milk-Bone because naturally every dog wants fresher breath.
It was Corazon Aquino's day in the Philippines. 6 hours after the polls closed, her opponents conceded defeat and her government claimed overwhelming voter approval of a new constitution, one that restores democratic rule and human rights. David Jackson is there.
Early unofficial returns show the Cory Constitution and Aquino herself with enormous popular support. There's strong opposition only in the so-called solid north, Marcos country, and at some military bases.
Yes.
It'll be 3 days before there's any official trend nationwide, that long at least to get results from the more remote provinces. Voter turnout today was very heavy, as high as 90%, a good sign for the government, which is hoping for a 2-to-1 victory. For now, election officials seem most pleased by the relative lack of trouble at the polls.
I'm sorry to inform you that practically there's nothing untoward to report.
But in Muslim Mindanao, 3 guerrillas were killed in attacks on polling places. Soldiers there guarded many precincts, but couldn't stop roving squads from private warlord armies trying to get out the no vote. In Manila, a few explosions broke windows before the voting started. A couple of people were caught with hundreds of sticks of dynamite, but referendum day itself was calm. The American view, like the government's, optimistic.
A strong showing in the approval of the Constitution will be a major step forward.
Final results won't be known for a week, but the fact there was no serious violence, no widespread fraud, that alone is seen as a victory for Cory Aquino. David Jackson, CBS News, Manila.
Inspection! Are we clean?
Yes, sir.
How do we stay looking clean?
With automatic Vanish, sir.
Why automatic Vanish?
Sir, with automatic Vanish, every flush brings us more of that tough Vanish cleaning and deodorizing formula. No other brand can give you that.
Sound off!
Automatic!
Sound off!
Vanish! No other brand gives you that tough Vanish formula.
And Private, there are other Vanish products you should know about. When you want a brush, use liquid or crystal Vanish. Their powerful formula cleans so well, you'll stand up to any inspection.
Yes, sir.
You've just had your dentures professionally cleaned.
How can they keep them looking this way?
With professional strength Efferdent. Efferdent removes stains, kills germs, cleans away plaque, even in between. For a professional looking clean, get Efferdent.
Had enough calcium today? Need more? Introducing another Rolaids, calcium-rich cherry Rolaids. A great antacid plus calcium. New calcium-rich Rolaids. Relief you want, calcium you need.
It is one of the oldest moral questions in medicine, whether a doctor should be allowed to kill out of mercy. That old question is getting some new answers in the Netherlands. Tom Fenton reports.
The Dutch people pride themselves on freedom of choice. Increasingly, that now includes the choice of when to die. Dr. Peter Admiral has killed more than 100 cancer patients who wanted to die, ending their lives with a lethal dose of drugs.
That moment that a patient asks me, please, doctor, please, stop my life, I have to realize that's not a joke. I don't think I should be a good doctor if I should deny it completely.
Euthanasia is more widely practiced and accepted here than anywhere else, even though it is illegal. Every year, thousands of people, mostly elderly and terminally ill, are helped to die.
I gave her 2 glasses of sherry, and then I gave her the sleeping draught. And before I gave it to her, I said, are you quite certain? Because there's no way of turning back.
Stories like that are common in Holland. Doctors and families talk about it openly. This man watched as the doctor ended the life of his cancer-ridden mother.
At this moment, she was laughing. She looks happiness, and she say, please wait a moment, can I have a cup of coffee? And can I smoke my last cigarette?
A patient with terminal face cancer asked this plastic surgeon to end his life, and she did.
He started telling me about his life. He said I really had a good life. I'd seen quite a bit of the world, enjoyed it all, and that's it.
Polls show that an overwhelming majority of the Dutch accept euthanasia. The real debate here is whether to legalize it with strict guidelines to prevent the abuses that are now coming to light. Recently, 3 nurses at this hospital were charged with murder after ending the lives of 3 patients without a doctor's consent. And this doctor saw another doctor administer a fatal dose of morphine to a critically ill patient without the patient's consent.
But you have heard of more than one case of this being done without the knowledge of the patient?
Yes, without the knowledge of the patient. Yeah, because I was there and I saw it. Otherwise, I had never known it.
There are widespread reports that some old people now fear hospitals because of cases like this. But most people here feel that the benefits of being able to end someone's misery outweigh the risks of abuse.
What do you say to a patient that you're about to kill?
Well, I wish him a very good journey to an unknown land.
It's unknown territory into which this country is now heading. And the dangers there are not yet fully apparent. Tom Fenton, CBS News, Amsterdam.
A spokeswoman today said piano virtuoso Liberace is near death in his Palm Springs home. The 67-year-old entertainer reported he suffers from anemia, emphysema, and heart disease. The spokeswoman said family and friends are with him. Death appears imminent. Liberace became a television star in the 1950s. He has played to capacity crowds coast to coast for more than 3 decades.
Look, they're my parents, and I tell you, they're acting different. I mean, they go dancing. Herbert and Jane dancing. I know, Mother thinks it's fun. She wears eye makeup now. I don't know what's gotten into them. Whose is this? Why don't they act their age?
To help them get more out of life, people are eating better. Some have found Kellogg's Product 19, 100% of 12 vitamins and minerals. Feel good about yourself.
Tennis? They don't play tennis.
Feel like 19 again.
She is the mystery.
I don't care where you come from. Alaska will get you.
Alaska is the story that my father told of swift rivers running with salmon and gold. Alaska is so many things I have never known. Alaska is the warming sun calling me home. Alaska.
Patient, dining table. Diagnosis, worn finish, no shine. Treatment, facelift.
Now there's a facelift for furniture. New Formby's Facelift, my secret for bringing dull furniture back to life. Facelift revives the shine without refinishing. In less than an hour, you can smooth away the wear and tear and lay down a bright new facelift finish that will shine for years to come. That's what Formby's Facelift is all about. making your furniture look alive and beautiful again without major surgery.
Skipper Dennis Conner is one race away now from bringing home the America's Cup. His yacht Stars and Stripes beat the Australian boat again today. This leaves the Americans a 3-0 lead in the best-of-7 series. Next race, Wednesday. Barry Peterson is on the racing scene.
Tonight, the Australians are wondering, what will life be like after the Cup? Are bracing for defeat. Another race, perhaps the last one, will be sailed later this week. Today, Australia's Kookaburra, for the first time in 3 races, took an early lead. But within minutes, Stars and Stripes caught up, cut under, and cut Kookaburra out. The Americans were so far ahead, so cocky and confident, that millions of Australian television viewers watched as the American crew snapped pictures of each other and joked.
We get serious again. You clown.
American skipper Dennis Conner, who insists he is scared of the Australians, was so relaxed he turned the helm over to another crewman for a while. Then Kookaburra, hopelessly out of the race, was warned of a threat to blow it out of the water.
Our rubber boat came alongside and said, well, got a bomb on board. Our immediate response to them was, well, what's the bad news?
It is not the red, white, and blue, but what Australians call true blue.
See that? Behind. A lot of pride.
Yeah?
A lot of pride.
What's going to happen if she doesn't win?
We still got pride.
TV stations used it to inspire the crew to stave off what appears to be imminent disaster.
Hey, true blue, don't say you've gone.
Winning the America's Cup 4 years ago changed Australia, became the symbol of a nation's pride and identity. Americans may remember regaining the cup for a while. Australians will remember losing it forever.
Are you really disappearing? Just another dying race.
Barry Peterson, CBS News, Fremantle.
And that's the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather, thank you for joining us. Good night.
Bring in the drafting table next. You know what it means to start your own business. A lot of work and some big headaches. But I don't take aspirin or Tylenol anymore. Today I take Advil. Fact is, Advil has a non-prescription strength of the medicine in the prescription brand Motrin. Doctors have already recommended Advil over 5 million times for so many types of pain. So today it's Advil. Business is tough enough. I don't want to compete with a headache. Advil, tablets and new caplets. Advanced medicine for pain.
This new Bonneville's really sharp. How's it feel? Let me tell you.
Here comes the sleek, new driving machine. Bonneville.
Bonneville, huh? Pretty sporty. How's it run? Let me tell you.
Built with high feel for the road. New Bonneville.
On the road all day, poor baby.
Let me tell you.
Built excitement. Bonneville.
Coldwell Banker is America's largest full-service real estate company. And these days, you don't get bigger unless you do it better. Coldwell Banker, the home sellers, a member of the Sears Financial Network.
A woman in my position can't worry about dentures coming loose.
Fixident and forget it. Fixident helps fix loose spots for a strong hold that lasts longer than any leading cream.
Let's do it again.
Use Fixident and forget it.
I'm Forrest Sawyer. Are baby boomers doing as well as their parents in their pursuit of the American dream? We'll have the story tomorrow on the CBS Morning News.
This is CBS.
The TV8 News, live at 6, next.
All the joy of going round and round looking for better weed control, when it's already here. Or are herbicide costs spinning out of control when they could be a low one-time expense? This year, stop going around in circles and head straight for the answer. New Conquest Herbicide, the one complete corn herbicide at a down-to-earth cost. Conquest, only from DuPont.
Folks, Stivers Lincoln Mercury Mercouver now has 40 1985 Ford Thunderbirds, fully equipped, all priced at $75.88. Now, if you should decide to take advantage of bank rate financing, put $688 down, cash your trade, and pay $179.68 per month. As always, if you're looking for price and selection, which now includes extended service hours plus Saturday service, visit Stiver's Lincoln.